Glamping, a form of camping involving accommodation and facilities more luxurious than those associated with traditional camping. Yeah, so we had our first ever glamping experience. We went to Natra Bintan, a tribute portfolio resort under the Marriott brand of hotels and resorts. As the name of the resort suggests, it's located on Bintan, an Indonesian island located about 60 to 80 kilometers away from Singapore. It takes about an hour and 40 minutes to get to Bintan by ferry. To take a ferry to Bintan, you have to go to Tanah Merah ferry terminal. Something amusing caught my eye while we were at the ferry terminal. There was a sign in front of a car park that said car park full, but then there wasn't a single car in sight. Anyway, this is what it looks like on the inside of the ferry terminal. You can actually check in your bags, but we don't recommend doing that unless you really have a lot of bags, because over at the Bintan side, it takes a long time for your luggage to be ready for collection. And we're away. We didn't manage to get a window seat, which would have been nice. So another thing to note, seating is on a first come first served basis. So the early bird gets the worm and all that. There is a small deli on board the boat. It sells light snacks and refreshments if you're really hungry or thirsty, but since it's less than a 2-hour ferry ride, you might want to just hold out till you reach Bintan and get some real food. Here's the view from the back of the boat. It's a 3-column situation here with 4 seats on the left and right columns and 5 seats in the center column. Plenty of space in the aisle, unlike airplanes.
We are in Bintan. Say Bintan? No.
When we reached the Bintan ferry terminal and got on the bus to get to the resort, I was expecting a much longer ride, maybe 20-30 minutes at least. But it turned out that the resort was only a 5-minute drive away from the ferry terminal. Natra Bintan is pretty much a self-contained resort. Everything that you could want to do or see is all within the resort itself. There's actually nothing much to sightsee or do nearby. Everything else is at least a 6 to 7 kilometer ride away. And if you want snacks and drinks, best to purchase them at the ferry terminal before you get on the bus to go to the hotel, because that's the only place that has a few convenience stores.
Okay.
We are here already. It really was a 5-minute drive from the ferry terminal. Yes. This looks like orange juice. And this is just water infused with fruit. Natra Bintan has just one restaurant serving all meals, including breakfast. It's called the Patio Restaurant and Bar.
Here we are. We have arrived at Natra Bintan. It's a resort here in Bintan. We took the ferry this morning. First ferry at 9:10. Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Wow, looks nice.
Try this. It's so sweet. So apparently the meal comes with soup, but look at the size of the soup. It could be a main course on its own. I was half thinking we ordered 4 main courses, but this is a little insane. So if you want something different to eat other than what's offered at the Natra Bintan Resort, you're going to have to take a taxi to the nearest restaurants, which are at least 6 kilometers away. Okay, we just finished our lunch and now we're headed to our room, which is ready. We are getting a buggy ride to our room. I hesitate to say hotel room because it's not supposed to be a hotel, right? It's supposed to be glamping. So Oh, look at that. Really is the definition of glamping. Something new right to your tent. Okay, wow,
Oh,
we're
it's
here
over
already.
here.
Wow, look at that. There it is. It's right there. So we are in room 405. You're going in? Awesome.
Yeah.
Alright, we are in our room 405 of Natra Bintan, and this is what it looks like. It truly is the definition of glamping. I think even the bed that we have back home isn't as nice as this. Like a 4-poster bed. There's the door right there. And nice big TV. I think it's like 55-inch. Room is quite spacious. And apparently the shower facilities are outdoors. So we're going to check it out right now. Push it outwards. Ooh, and there's a step. Something to note is that the bathrooms are open concept, but the walls are high enough for complete privacy unless someone chooses to get a ladder and climbs up, but then that would be pretty obvious. How do you like the room?
Okay, comfortable and
Is this your first glamping
spacious.
experience?
Yes, it
Really?
is. I've gone to camping in a nice area setting, but it was real camping. But this one is like glamping. It's basically a hotel room, but it shapes like a tent, right? As you can see, it's from the outside. But inside, it's like basically hotel room.
Air
Isn't it?
condition,
Air conditions,
comfortable
everything.
bed,
Yes,
TV.
yes.
So they do have a few different room types available at the Natra Bintan: the Garden Tent, the Safari Tent, Lagoon View Tent, Lagoon View Deluxe Tent, and Glamping Deluxe Tent. For our stay, we booked 2 different room types. We spent the first 2 nights in the Garden Tent, which is what you just saw, and for the remaining 2 nights, we stayed in the Lagoon View Deluxe Tent. Now, there are a few differences. For starters, you do get a view of the lagoon, hence the name. There is actually no difference in the room size. They're both the same size at 45 square meters, but in the Lagoon View Deluxe Tent, you are given a study desk, a sofa bed to lounge on, as well as a slightly nicer looking decor. And where the bathroom in the garden tent was a bit bare bones, this one was a bit more luxurious. For example, there was a fancy looking miniature garden feature wall of sorts, and the fittings were a little more luxurious. For example, the copper tap and the golden shower fittings. Something else that's probably also a standout feature is that you can choose to have a barbecue right outside your tent, which we didn't, and which I'm kind of now regretting because I kind of love barbecues. Oh well. Also, outside your Lagoon View Deluxe tent, you do get an outdoor jacuzzi, which is great for having a drink and staring into the sky, pondering your existence, or entertaining your kid if you have one, which is what we did because, well, we have one. The final difference that we thought was worth mentioning is that the air conditioning unit in the Lagoon View Deluxe tent is actually located on the floor and it's right next to the bed. And most unfortunately, it was super loud. So loud that it sounded like a jet engine. You can hear it for yourself. The main attraction of Natra Bintan, I think, is the giant man-made lagoon right in the center of everything. It's called Treasure Bay Bintan, I think. And it's perfect for all sorts of water-based activities like canoeing.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. We are in a canoe.
Yes.
Lagoon kayaking. Yay.
And for now, I haven't managed to capsize the canoe yet, but that might change pretty soon. Swimming. Cable skiing. For dinner, we went to the patio restaurant and bar again. I mean, where else could we have gone? Am I right? Fortunately, dinner was okay, but for some reason, I remember dinner being not quite as good as lunch. Still good, but not as good. Maybe it was because the portion sizes were inconsistent. For example, this small piece of salmon and really small serving of fries. Contrast that with our lunch, where we had what looked like 4 main courses, but were really 2 main courses and 2 soups. Anyway, because we were there for 2 nights, we had the chance to try a number of different menu items, like this pizza you see here, or the satay, or this burger right here. Overall, no complaints about the taste, but just wish that portion sizes were a little more consistent. Our stay in the Natra Bintan did come with a breakfast buffet. The breakfast buffet was held in the same restaurant where we had our lunch and dinner the previous day, the patio restaurant and bar. The breakfast was a standard buffet with the usual items that you expect from any breakfast buffet at any average hotel. Over here we have some cold cuts, assorted cheeses, yogurt, and some fruit. You get beverages like teas, Milo, and of course coffee from the coffee machine, a staple of every breakfast buffet. Speaking of staples, there's obviously an egg station where you can order all sorts of eggs like scrambled eggs, omelets, sunny side up, whatever your heart desires. And over here, you have a selection of baked goods to choose from breadsticks to buns and all sorts of pastries. You get baked beans, roasted potatoes, stir-fried vegetables, tomatoes, sausages, and bacon. And you also get waffles and pancakes too, along with a selection of sauces and toppings to choose from. And in addition to the international selection of food, you also have the Asian selection, which, other than the usual fried rice and fried noodles, also includes a selection of local Indonesian dishes. Overall, we thought the variety of food was not bad. You certainly won't lack for a diversity of food items to choose from, but overall the taste was just average. There wasn't any particular dish that stood out to us that we feel is worth mentioning. Bottom line, the buffet is okay, the variety is not bad, the taste is average, and at the end of the day, it's part of the hotel package and it fills your bellies. And let's face it, it's not like you have any nearby alternatives anyway. Overall, I think that our trip to Natra Bintan was quite a good experience. As I mentioned, there doesn't seem to be a lot to do outside of the resort, so our activities, including dining options, were largely confined to the resort itself. Thankfully, the resort does offer a whole range of amenities and activities which should satisfy what most people want. What I liked as well was that the resort wasn't crowded, even over a weekend. It was very quiet and peaceful. That said, we were there not long after the whole COVID thing died down and travel reopened, so by now, the crowds have probably returned and the high prices as well. But overall, Natra Bintan is worth checking out for a quick weekend getaway. I probably wouldn't stay longer than 3 days because it might get boring because there's really nothing else around the area. But if you've never been there, if you've never tried glamping before, this is probably a good place to start. Alright, that's it. We've come to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. If you didn't, leave us a comment and tell us why and how we can improve. Either way, hope to see you again in the next video.